Yo, what is up, guys? We are back for another video on Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle, and this is a great way to start off any video. I've mentioned it in other videos, of course, but as a content creator, you just kind of get in the habit of recording all of your summons, so I decided to get that premium Gotenks ticket just on a whim. I was just like, you know what, F it. And I decided to go ahead and snag it, and your boy got a Goku Black Rift. Actually, the second of the banner, which is really, really cool. And there's our boy right there, Gotenks. Now, if you are unfamiliar with how this Pilaf Strove works, so a lot of the times it's guaranteed featured. So that would indicate that these two units, so I pulled Gotenks and Trunks, these two units are actually not my guaranteed, so this multi currently is absolutely absurd, and that's why I wanted to share it so badly with you guys. It's, again, okay, and then another fake out. This one is a, yes, it's a Piccolo. So that is dupe number 1 in Gotenks, and then that is dupe number 3 in Trunks, and then that is the rainbow on our boy Piccolo. And quickly, before the sort of crux of the video, it's obviously explosive chain battle, as you can see here. Before we get to that, a big shout out to one of the homies. Now, he's definitely a homie at this point. I'm going to go ahead and put a little screenshot of him on the screen. But Posius4, man, you should definitely go follow him. He does make content on Dokkan and otherwise. But he made this absolutely sick overlay, and then he also has made quite a few of my thumbnails recently within the last few weeks. He's really good. If you guys want to, for a very reasonable price, he might be able to hook you up as well. I'm not trying to overload him or anything like that, but, you know, I really like his stuff. So just straight up, man. Posius4, keep up the great work, buddy. So this is my very first attempt on Chain Battle. 116 million there. I believe at the time this was good enough for top 4 or 5%, something along those lines. Currently, if you hit that, you'd probably be in the top 10%, which I've been preaching right along. Top 10% is good enough. God, that was not really the best opening there. You really want to see some of those really, really good additionals and crits. I did get pretty lucky with the last little opening session, but this time is not looking so good. We've got 1,000 left. I decided to split it up into groups of 5 here. Got a level 2 crit bronze for Int. It's not the worst, but also it's not really the best. I mean, any crit is good, and remember that there are so many units in this game. There's a +2 additional bronze. That ain't bad. But considering there are so many units in this game, it's just good to have a huge amount of skill orbs, right? So that is really, really good. So right here, I was able to, on this particular run, I think I had some pretty good luck. This might be the magical run that got me into the top 1%. I would imagine that the title of this video is something along the lines of like, oh, top 1% achieved or something like that. But from what I've found, there are a few different options you can do. So you can do either Kale and Caulifla as your attacker, or this Fizz Kefla, or, believe it or not, Tech Hit. I've actually seen Tech Hit in the top sort of attacks that you can check before the battle. So let's see who I decide to pick here. Usually what I've found is you want roughly to get like a score over 120 million for the first group, for the super class group of supports and connectors. You want them to have somewhere in the realm of like 37, 2 and 25, somewhere in that realm. You can get, I believe, as high as 40. So just try to keep that in mind when you're trying to get these really, really good scores. I don't know if this is the really good one or not. And then for the cells, you can get as many as 50. So I've seen as high as 52. I think this is indeed the money shot. But 52 similar links, and then 27 categories, and then 2 type, I believe, is what it is. So that's about where you want to be, and I do believe this is the money shot. And always you want to be at that full power. You want the meter to be flashing before you even start. And sometimes with, so for instance, the next chain battle coming up, I think, is World Tournament. That is the money shot right there. 135 million propelled me into top 1%. But this World Tournament Majin Buu Saga nonsense, it's going to be weird. It's going to be wacky. I don't even know. I think a lot of players, and not even trying to like, not trying to get your spirits down or anything, but I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of players couldn't even hit their 100 million, especially if you do not grind the World Tournament. So if you don't grind the World Tournament, I mean, certainly you should still do the missions, because if you can get 1.5 billion, even if you can't get your 100 million in one run, you can still get your 1.5 billion and then get your 3 stones and your sticker, your special sticker. But obviously, to complete all the missions in this stage, I think this is a decent run. But to complete all the missions, you have to hit 100 million in one fell swoop, in one round. So, but what do we get here? This is a pretty good run. It's pretty crazy because there are good and bad aspects of this. I really do like that this is something different than just bubble popping. You know what I mean? Yeah, 120 million. I mean, that's all right. You know, that would probably get you in the top 5%, something like that, at least at this point at the time of this video. And then there we go. There's the 1 billion. So we're able to get an Elder Kai, you know, a lot of those Emblem of Conquests. It's really good, right? But sort of the good and the bad. I would say the good part, like I was talking about earlier, alluding to earlier, is that it's different, right? It's different than just the usual bubble popping of Dokkan. You know, should I use an item or not use an item? You know what I mean? That type of thing, which I love. I mean, look at me. I make content on this damn game. You know, I really do love that part of it. But then, you know, part of me... So I think it's good they tried something different. But part of me is like, yo, man, this is way too RNG. Because, you know, between that 135 million and that 120 million, there really wasn't that much of a difference. Like, what was different? To have a 15 million point difference for like 2 links in like a category or something just does not seem right. I don't know, man. I think a lot of you are probably in the same boat. I don't even probably need to mention that, like, people are not a fan of the RNG. In the same way that they're not a fan of the RNG when they're grinding link levels, I feel like I would rather have a definitive answer to, like, what am I actually getting myself into if I want to grind to link level 10. It could take as little as, I don't know, 4 or 5 days. And it could take as much as 3 weeks. Second form Frieza, that most recent video I just dropped, that guy took me, I think, over 3 weeks to get to full link level 10. I had 1 link stuck at 9 for like a solid 2 weeks. It was absolutely absurd. Same thing when I was grinding Tech Broly to full link level 10. Now, is that at the fault of my own? Yes, it is. No one's asking me to grind these units to full link level 10. I want to, right? But I feel like if there was just an XP bar, that would be better. I really do think that. Having an end goal, having a finite amount of stages I'll have to grind is helpful. So that was 129 million. Again, at the time of recording, that would have been good enough to get me in the top 1%. I don't know what is the cutoff. If you guys are in the top 2%, let me know. Because I am not sure what it would be at now. At the time, day 1, or maybe it was day 2, it was at about 127 million. I would wager that would have gone up by now. Also, if you end up watching this, shout out to the homie Maximus. Maximus is a really busy guy. So I know that he wants to bring you guys more content. You guys should go sub to him. He definitely plans on bringing you guys a lot of content in the future. He is like a true, like, he's a mini whale, right? He's a little orca, whatever you want to call him. But he's like a true Dokkan player. Like, he loves the game. It's his main game. He doesn't really play too many other games. So definitely go give him a sub, but shout out to him, man. I think he almost hit 140 million. I think he was at 139 million, something like that. So again, you know, getting into the top 1%, yes, you have to have the right setup, which is RNG. And yes, you have to get it in a very reasonable amount of time. Like, you don't want to be going over much over 1 second to be able to get that top score. But it's just, at a certain point, even after you've got all the categories lined up, even after you've got all the links, all the typings lined up, and you get the magical rotation when you're selecting your 3, it's still RNG. Your final score is RNG. It definitely has a variance. It's got to be of like 10 million. I've seen some people estimate it as high as like 30 million. And honestly, I can attest to that because I've had runs where I've got damn near identical setups or identical setups, and the score is different by like 20 million. Like, look at this. Like, this should be a good run. Like, in theory, I thought that this was going to be a great run because all of those units are very, very close in their links. Obviously not the same typings, but 2 of them had the same typing. 2 of them were the same unit, just without shattering the limit, you know what I mean? So they're sharing 6 of 7 links, so it just seemed crazy that we didn't... I mean, yeah, 106 million, man, that is not... I mean, it would be good enough. Like, that would probably get me into the top 10% or close to. But, dude, that just ain't good enough if you're trying to get to top 1%, you know what I mean? So getting the top 1%, pretty much the difference between top 10% and 1% is you're talking about 20 pieces of equipment. And if you're talking the difference between the top 1% and top 2%, 2 to 3%, I believe it's only 5 pieces of equipment. And then, of course, I think the coolest prize, the main prize, is getting those 3 stickers. I think that is a really, really cool thing that they've been doing, is adding those stickers into the game at a pretty reasonable rate, I would say. They are rare, but they're not impossible to get. Like, we get 1 every month for Battlefield. Every month for Chain Battle, you get at least a couple. So they're not that hard to come by. You know, I know a lot of people have... If you haven't used 1 single sticker yet, I bet you... I'd wager you'd have close to 20. Maybe even more than 20. I don't know how many units I've actually... use the sticker on. I think I still have 1 or 2 sitting there in the bank, but I don't know, man. I do love the sticker effect. I think that is a cool thing that Dokkan decided to put in. It's just something extra, right? Their base gameplay is always going to be the same. So either you like bubble popping or you don't, right? So let's see what we do here. I feel like in that particular case, looking back on it, I should have just gone with the cells. You know, I don't know, man. I was just having really good luck selecting the Saiyans, so I got obsessed with selecting only the Saiyans. But I think that would have been a situation where I should have selected the cells. That magical rotation with the 2 easy A's and then the LR int cell is really, really good. So I cracked 120, but guys, that's the video. Slap a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you are new, and I will catch all of you in the next one. Later.